that a powerful earthquake has hit the east coast of Taiwan, with reports of at least 4 dead and 50 people injured.
Buildings have been destroyed in Taiwan after a massive magnitude 7.2 earthquake struck the island.
And emergency crews in Taiwan are racing to rescue hundreds of people still trapped in damaged buildings.
Emergency workers in Taiwan are looking for dozens of people who are still missing after the island was hit by its strongest earthquake of this century.
Just days ago, Taiwan was rocked by a powerful earthquake, its tremors ripping through cities and unsettling the ground with a forceful magnitude of 7.4. This destructive quake brought down buildings and instilled fear throughout the island, showcasing the formidable strength of nature's raw power. In the bustling city of Hualien, near the quake's epicenter, chaos ensued, serving as a stark reminder of the delicate balance between Taiwan's beauty and the relentless force of natural disasters. As Taiwan grapples with the aftermath of this devastation, ominous signs suggest that more challenges may lie ahead in the days to come. Join us as we reveal the urgent warnings facing Taiwan following this catastrophic event. The unprecedented tremble under Taiwan's feet. This earthquake would be remembered as the most powerful one in the last 10 years. It was an ordinary Tuesday morning, April 3rd, at 7:58 a.m. when the ground suddenly started to shake vigorously. This wasn't just a minor tremble. It was a massive earthquake with a magnitude of 7.4. To put that into perspective, think about the strongest shaking you can imagine, and then realize this was the most intense quake to hit the Taiwan region in a whole decade. The epicenter, or the point on the Earth's surface directly above where the earthquake starts, was just over 11 miles from Hualien City. This quake wasn't shallow. It happened deep down in the earth, about 22 miles below the surface, making it feel very strong to those on the surface. This event was significant not just for its strength, but also because it echoed a part of Taiwan's seismic history. The last time an earthquake near this magnitude struck the area was way back in 1920, near Hualien as well, with a staggering magnitude of 8.2. That quake over a century ago was the most considerable seismic event the region had seen in over 100 years, making the tragic earthquake a stark reminder of the Earth's power. The main quake was followed by a series of smaller tremors known as aftershocks, which also centered in the Philippine Sea near Hualien City. These aftershocks occurred on the same day as the main quake, with magnitudes ranging between 5.1 and 5.7. Think of these aftershocks as the Earth's way of settling down after the big move. They're smaller shakings that follow the main event, kind of like aftershocks of a big sound. These aftershocks serve as a reminder that the ground under Taiwan isn't always steady and can move again, even after a big earthquake. For the people living in Taiwan, these events were more than just numbers and statistics. The 2024 quake and its aftershocks were a clear message that earthquakes are a very real part of life on the island. It was a wake-up call, emphasizing the need for readiness and preparation. The people of Taiwan were reminded of the importance of being prepared for such events, highlighting the need for everyone, from individuals to the government, to always be ready to act swiftly and safely when the ground starts to shake. Taiwan sits in a very active part of the Earth where the ground can often shake because of the way the Earth's plates meet and move. In the decade leading up to the big 2024 earthquake, Taiwan experienced an average of 227 noticeable earthquakes every year, all with magnitudes of 4.0 or more. That's a lot of shaking going on regularly. This constant activity under the ground means people in Taiwan live with the possibility of earthquakes happening anytime. The 2024 earthquake was just the latest in a long history of shakes that Taiwan has experienced. This history includes the massive shake in 1920 and many others that have happened in the 20th and 21st centuries. Living in Taiwan means being aware that the ground might not always stay still. The people of Taiwan have learned to adapt to this reality, building stronger houses and schools, and always being ready with plans on what to do when the ground shakes. Schools teach children how to stay safe during an earthquake, and there are regular drills so everyone knows how to react quickly.
He says inspections will be carried out over Taiwan's upcoming 4-day weekend and that students won't return to campuses until their safety can be guaranteed.
The government and scientists keep a close eye on the Earth's movements, using special instruments to detect even the smallest shakes. This helps them warn people if they think a big earthquake might happen soon. After the shaking stops, we see what happened next. How did Taiwan handle this big test from nature? The Earth's unsteady whisper. The main earthquake was followed by a series of aftershocks, smaller yet still powerful tremors, that continued to unsettle the region. These aftershocks, some reaching magnitudes over 5, occurred in the sea near Hualien City. Their presence served as a stark reminder of Taiwan's precarious position on the globe, situated at the boundary where two gigantic slabs of the Earth's crust, known as tectonic plates, collide and grind against each other. Taiwan's history with earthquakes is long and storied. The island regularly feels the Earth move under its feet, with records showing an average of 227 noticeable earthquakes every year over the past decade. That's a significant amount of seismic activity, illustrating the constant dance of the tectonic plates beneath. The largest recorded quake prior to the 2024 event struck the region on June 5, 1920, boasting a staggering magnitude of 8.2. This historical context shows that Taiwan's geographical position makes it susceptible to substantial seismic events. The April 2024 earthquake was so significant that it raised concerns in Japan about the potential for a tsunami, a series of large ocean waves triggered by the displacement of water due to underwater earthquakes. This apprehension underscores the far-reaching impact of seismic events in this part of the world. Taiwan finds itself straddling the boundary between the Philippine Sea Plate and the Eurasian Plate, a geographic crossroads that predisposes the island to frequent and sometimes violent earthquakes. When everything falls apart, quick action is key. We'll see what happened right after the earthquake and how people in Taiwan reacted. The rebuilding from rubble. This wasn't just any earthquake. It was the biggest one to hit the area in over 10 years, with a strength or magnitude of 7.4 on the scale that measures how strong earthquakes are.
A magnitude 7.2 earthquake hit Taiwan this morning, with the epicenter off the coast of Hualien County in the country's east. 9 people are confirmed and almost 900 are hurt, and the quake has caused major damage to buildings and roads throughout the country. It's the largest tremor to hit Taiwan in 25 years. Search and rescue efforts are underway, with 130 people trapped.
Imagine the ground shaking so much that it's the most it has in a whole decade. This showed everyone just how much nature can shake things up in Taiwan and make life difficult. But it wasn't just one big shake. After that big earthquake, there were more shakes called aftershocks. These weren't as powerful as the first one, but still strong enough to make people scared and cause more problems. These aftershocks had magnitudes between 5.1 and 5.7, which means they were still pretty strong. Every time one of these aftershocks happened, it was like nature reminding everyone that earthquakes can keep coming back, making it hard to feel safe. The damage from the big earthquake and the aftershocks was terrible. It wasn't just a few things here and there, it was widespread, affecting a lot of different places. Homes where families live got damaged, meaning people might have had to find other places to stay or live with the damage. Not just homes, but also places where people work, like shops and offices, got hurt by the earthquake. This made it hard for businesses to keep going and for people to go about their daily lives. The loss of life and injuries from this disaster were heartbreaking, with the numbers reported by officials showing how many people were affected. But these numbers are just the start of understanding the true impact. Behind each statistic is a story of someone's life changed forever, of families having to find a way to move on after losing loved ones, and of people getting hurt. The tales of how individuals and whole communities are trying to recover from this disaster show an incredible strength and determination to get through tough times. These stories of struggle and recovery are important. They help us remember what happened and teach us how to better respond if something like this happens again in the future. Then there was the tsunami that followed the earthquake, a scary example of what happens when the ocean's power is set loose by movements of the earth underneath. The waves caused by the tsunami were so big that they led to people having to leave their homes near the coast quickly. The areas hit by the tsunami faced huge challenges, not just in making sure everyone was safe right then, but in figuring out how to rebuild and recover over time. This tsunami made it clear how important it is to have good systems in place to warn people early and plans ready for dealing with such big threats. The earthquake and tsunami in Taiwan in 2024 showed just how at risk cities and places near the coast are to natural disasters. But it also showed how strong and united people can be when facing such challenges together. It proved how important good planning and management are when dealing with disasters. As Taiwan works to rebuild and get stronger after what happened, the lessons taken from this tough time will be really important in making sure better protections are in place for dealing with natural disasters in the future. The direct effects of this disaster, like the buildings that were destroyed, the people who were hurt or lost their lives, and the problems caused by the tsunami, make it clear that being ready for these kinds of events is really important. This whole situation is a reminder that we need to make sure communities, especially those in places where disasters might happen, are prepared and can stay safe. Building up resilience, which means making sure communities can bounce back after disasters, is crucial for keeping people safe and making sure they can recover as quickly and as well as possible from nature's most challenging moments. Help starts with everyone coming together. This is about Taiwan's and the world's efforts to fix things after the disaster. Rising from the ruins together. Just after a very powerful earthquake shook Taiwan, the country's leaders quickly announced an emergency. This urgent announcement was like a big call for help, telling everyone that it was time to act fast to save lives and help those who were hurt or lost because of the earthquake.
It's now all hands on deck to get a city of 100,000 people reconnected on the eve of a major national holiday. They've opened for registration on Wednesday afternoon, around 7 hours after the first quake struck at 8 in the morning.
The government knew they had to move quickly to take care of people who were suffering and to make sure no more harm came to others. They set up a well-organized plan to bring together many people and a lot of equipment to search for and rescue anyone trapped under buildings, to treat people's injuries, and to ensure that everyone could feel safe again. This sudden and scary situation showed how well the government could handle a crisis. They managed to organize a huge effort to find anyone who might still be trapped in the rubble, to provide medical treatment for those who were injured, and to reassure the people that everything possible was being done to keep them safe. It wasn't just about sending out rescue teams or setting up medical tents. It was about making sure there was enough water, food, and shelter for those who had lost their homes. The government's actions were a beacon of hope during a very dark time, showing that even in the face of such a disaster, there were people ready and willing to help. At the same time, the whole world started to pay attention and offered a hand in friendship and support to Taiwan.
2 hours after this morning's massive earthquake, President Tsai Ing-wen and Premier Chen Jian-ren came here to New Taipei City to go over the country's next steps.
Countries near and far, along with international organizations, all came together to show they were there for Taiwan. This global outpouring of support was not just about sending money or basic supplies. Many countries sent their own teams of experts who specialize in finding people buried under collapsed buildings, doctors and nurses to help with the injured, and engineers to help rebuild what was lost. This worldwide help was like a giant hug for Taiwan, bringing extra help and hope to the island and making the recovery efforts even stronger. It was a clear sign that when bad things happen, there are always people ready to stand by your side. Within Taiwan itself, the spirit of community and togetherness was truly inspiring. Despite the fear and uncertainty, people from all walks of life came together to support one another. Individuals who might never have thought of themselves as heroes were stepping up to do whatever they could. Some organized groups to clear debris and search for survivors. Others set up stations to distribute food and water, and many opened their homes to those who had nowhere else to go. Volunteers were everywhere, each person contributing their own skills and time to the collective effort. It was a powerful demonstration of how, even in the worst of times, the human spirit of cooperation and kindness shines through. People shared what little they had, worked together to rebuild their communities, and comforted those who had lost everything. The earthquake had taken a lot, but it couldn't take away the resilience and solidarity of the Taiwanese people. Stories of courage and compassion emerged from every corner of the island, from the cities to the rural areas, showing the world that even in the face of great adversity, hope and humanity prevail. In the wake of the earthquake that hit Taiwan in 2024, the response from the government, local communities, and the international community was both swift and comprehensive. Their collective actions focused on providing immediate relief to those who were hit hardest by the disaster.
The full extent of the damage is still unknown, but officials are in full response mode. Reporter Leslie Liao was at the Emergency Response Center in Taipei, where President Tsai Ing-wen met with disaster management officials.
This relief came in many forms, including giving out food to ensure no one went hungry, offering shelters to those whose homes were destroyed or unsafe, and supplying the basic needs to maintain a semblance of normal life amidst the chaos. But their efforts went beyond just meeting immediate needs. They also included helping in the cleanup of debris and the reconstruction of homes, roads, and public buildings that had been damaged or destroyed. The active involvement of local communities was a key factor in the speed and effectiveness of these recovery efforts. People from all walks of life came together, showing an incredible spirit of cooperation and willingness to help. Neighbors helped each other clean up their homes and streets. Volunteers from different parts of the country traveled to the most affected areas to assist in any way they could, from distributing supplies to providing emotional support to those grieving. Businesses and local organizations donated materials, money, and time to help rebuild their communities. This widespread community engagement demonstrated the incredible strength that comes from people working together towards a common goal, particularly in overcoming the significant challenges posed by the earthquake. Looking deeper, we'll learn about the science behind this big shake. What caused this huge earthquake? Earth's ring of fire lights up Taiwan. This event was not just a simple ground shake. It was the result of many complex processes happening deep inside the Earth, right under Taiwan. Scientists look closely at how the ground moves and why it sometimes shakes so violently to understand why this happened. Taiwan sits in a very special place on the Earth where two big pieces of the Earth's crust, called plates, bump into each other. These pieces are the Eurasian plate, which is a huge slab of the Earth's crust covering part of Europe and Asia, and the Philippine Sea plate, which is another big piece under the Philippine Sea. Around where these plates meet is a circle of frequent earthquakes known as the Circus Pacific Seismic Belt, often called the Ring of Fire, because it's where a lot of earthquakes and volcanic eruptions happen. Near Taiwan, there are two deep trenches in the ocean floor, the Ryukyu Trench to the northeast and the Manila Trench to the southwest. These trenches are places where one plate is being pushed under another, a process called subduction. This pushing and pulling create lots of tension and sometimes causes the ground to break, which we feel as earthquakes. In western Taiwan, this has led to several big cracks in the ground running north to south, which makes it more likely for earthquakes to happen there. The tsunami that followed the earthquake was caused by the ocean floor suddenly moving because of these tectonic plates shifting. Imagine if you quickly lifted or dropped a big section of the floor of a swimming pool, you'd see waves form. That's similar to what happens during a tsunami, but on a much, much larger scale. The way the ground moves under the sea near Taiwan, because of the plates squishing and sliding against each other, can make these giant waves start. Scientists have set up special systems to warn people about tsunamis that can quickly tell when an underwater earthquake happens and determine if it's likely to cause a tsunami. These systems use instruments that can feel the earthquake's rumble and measure if the sea level starts rising or falling, which means a tsunami might be coming. The key to saving lives is how fast these systems can figure out what's happening and tell everyone who needs to know, from people living near the coast to emergency workers who can help get people to safety. Talking to experts like seismologists, scientists who study earthquakes, and geologists, scientists who study the Earth, helps us a lot to understand why the ground shakes and what it means for people living in places like Taiwan. These experts all agree on one thing. Because of where Taiwan sits on the Earth, it's more likely to experience earthquakes than many other places. Imagine the Earth is like a giant jigsaw puzzle. Taiwan is located at a spot where several of these puzzle pieces, which scientists call tectonic plates, are bumping and grinding against each other. This constant movement makes the ground shake and can also cause huge waves in the ocean, known as tsunamis. Experts use special tools to look at the bottom of the ocean and see how these puzzle pieces are moving. They found that these movements are happening all the time, which means Taiwan always has to be ready for earthquakes and tsunamis. Scientists keep telling us that being prepared is super important. They're working hard to understand more about how the Earth moves so they can get better at predicting when and where earthquakes might happen. This is a big deal because it can help save lives and keep buildings and roads safe. A big disaster changes many things. Let's look at how the earthquake affected Taiwan's economy and society. Shakes, breaks, and countless bills. When the ground shook in Taiwan, it didn't just leave cracks in the earth. It also caused a lot of damage to where people live and work. This kind of damage means it will cost a lot of money to fix everything. While nobody could say right away how much it would all add up to, looking back at what happened before when the earth shook.
In times of crisis, the central government gathers here to formulate responses to disasters.
It's pretty clear that fixing everything could cost a lot of money, like billions of dollars. This big number includes fixing broken buildings and roads, and also counts the money lost because businesses had to stop or slow down, and workers couldn't do their jobs like usual. Taiwan is a very important place for making things, especially parts for computers and electronics that the whole world uses, like semiconductors. Semiconductors are a big deal because they go into everything from phones to cars. The earthquake made some of the big companies that make these parts, like the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Co., TSMC, stop working for a little while. Luckily, they didn't get too badly hurt, and they were able to start making things again pretty fast. This is really important because if they're not making parts, it can cause problems for a lot of other businesses around the world.
Former President Ma Ying-jeou visits an electric car factory in China, part of a tour of China's latest breakthroughs in tech and engineering. Ma's 2 terms in office were a period of warming ties with China, and he's hoping to bring those times back.
That need those parts to make their products. After the dust settles, the big job of rebuilding starts. This isn't just about putting up new buildings or fixing roads. It's also about making sure that when we build things this time, they're stronger and safer, so if the ground shakes again, they won't get knocked down as easily. This means looking at what's still standing and making it tougher and building new stuff with the knowledge that the earth might shake again. This is not just about keeping people safe, but also about making sure businesses can keep going even when nature throws a curveball. After the big shake in 2024, Taiwan might start thinking differently about how to build things and how to get ready for when the earth shakes. There's a good chance that the rules for building things will get a tougher look to make sure houses and buildings can stand up better to earthquakes. This means not just making the buildings stronger, but also making sure that people who help in emergencies and businesses that are really important, like the ones that make parts for electronics, are ready to deal with disasters when they happen. When something as scary as an earthquake happens, it doesn't just leave buildings broken, it can also leave scars on people's hearts and minds. Feeling super scared during the quake, losing homes or loved ones, or just the shock of it all can make people feel really bad inside, with lots of worry, sadness, or even PTSD, which is when the fear and stress don't go away even after the danger is over. But going through something this tough can also bring people closer. Neighbors, friends, and even strangers can come together, helping each other out and making the community stronger in the face of hardship. Seeing how much people can be hurt on the inside by earthquakes, Taiwan might start to offer more help for people's feelings and minds. This could mean that more people can talk to counselors or therapists if they're feeling really down or scared, joining groups where people support each other, or maybe there will be more programs and information out there to help everyone understand and take care of their mental health. This is super important because healing the mind is just as important as fixing buildings or roads after an earthquake. After a disaster, new ideas and teamwork can make a difference. We'll see how Taiwan learned and grew from this tough time. Now, there's a lot of hope in using computers to help with this. By gathering lots of information in real time and using smart computer programs that can learn and get better over time, experts are getting better at predicting earthquakes. This means they can give people a heads up sooner and with more confidence. After the dust settled, it was clear how much working together with other countries can make a difference. When countries join hands, they can send help, share smart ideas, and offer support much faster and more effectively. Teams from all over the world and groups that help out in disasters can jump into action quickly, bringing the tools and help needed not just right after the earthquake, but also as communities start to rebuild and heal. Learning from other big earthquakes, like the one in Tohoku, Japan in 2011, has taught everyone that sharing what works and what doesn't can really make a difference in being ready for the next big one. The earthquake also showed that knowing what to do can save lives. Teaching people about the dangers and how to be ready can make a huge difference when disaster strikes. If people know where to go, what to have ready in an emergency kit, and how to stay safe, they can protect themselves and their families much better. Getting everyone involved, from schools to whole neighborhoods, in practicing what to do can turn fear into action. Sharing information that's easy to understand and making sure everyone knows the plan can help build a community that's ready to face earthquakes and other disasters together. A very big earthquake happened, and right after that, a huge wave called a tsunami came and broke a lot of houses and buildings. This made it really hard for people to do their everyday things like going to work or school, and showed everyone how important it is to know what to do when such big disasters happen.
Some schools reported damage and fallen objects, while others reported blackouts and water outages.
Soon after this bad event, many people who are trained to help in emergencies, groups that want to help others but are not part of the government, and countries from all around the world came together to help the people in places that were hurt the most. They started helping very fast, showing that Taiwan is excellent at dealing with bad situations like this and knows how to get back on its feet quickly. Taiwan has had to deal with earthquakes before, and one of the worst ones was in 1999. It was extremely strong, with a strength of 7.7 out of 10. And it was a very sad time because 2,415 people lost their lives. These bad experiences have taught the people living in Taiwan to always be ready for earthquakes. They have even built their important buildings, like the very tall Taipei 101 skyscraper, to be strong enough to not fall down during an earthquake. This shows how much Taiwan wants to protect its people and the things they own from being destroyed by earthquakes. Trying to fix everything after the earthquake in 2024 has been very hard, but it also showed how the people of Taiwan can come together and help each other out, showing their strong spirit. This big shake reminded everyone that there is always more to do to get better at guessing when earthquakes will happen, making buildings even stronger, and teaching people how to be safe when disasters like this happen. Because Taiwan has been through tough times like this before, they've gotten really good at making sure everyone knows what to do when an earthquake strikes. Schools teach kids how to stay safe, and there are many drills throughout the year so everyone practices what to do. The government also has special systems in place to warn people when an earthquake is coming, giving them time to get to a safe place. The earthquake that hit Taiwan in 2024 has shown us how important it is for countries and people all over the world to come together and help each other when big natural disasters happen. When the earthquake struck, help and support came pouring in from many places, showing that no matter where we are from, we all understand how scary and damaging natural disasters can be. This huge wave of help from across the globe highlights how we all share the risk of being affected by such disasters and how we all want to help others in need. It really shows that working together, using knowledge and resources from different parts of the world, is crucial when it comes to responding to disasters, helping those affected to recover, and rebuilding what was lost. This devastating event in Taiwan didn't just show the damage that nature can cause to our homes and cities, it also revealed how strong and brave people can be. Despite the fear and loss, the way people responded to the disaster shows the incredible strength of the human spirit. It's a strong reminder that we should always be looking for ways to get better at preparing for disasters, how important it is for communities to be strong and ready, and how much our global family means when we're trying to get through the tough times that follow these events. As Taiwan starts to rebuild and look back on what happened, the experiences and lessons learned from this earthquake are sure to lead to stronger, more prepared communities and systems that can better withstand whatever challenges the future might hold. In the face of the 2024 earthquake, the world saw an inspiring level of international support and cooperation. Countries, international organizations, and people from every corner of the earth offered their help, sending aid, supplies, and experts to assist in the recovery efforts. This global response was not just about providing immediate relief, but also about sharing knowledge and resources to ensure a swift and effective rebuilding process. Could Taiwan's disaster predict a future where we're all vulnerable to nature's fury? Share your thoughts below and don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more.